Dude, where are we heading with this? Having a lot of wars in the world, uh, even in Europe, in the Middle East, which can be a little spark can add to the conflict very significantly. It will be ending in terrible casualties and a lot of victims. Um, where do you think we're heading with this? Do you think we are in the global war already, or do you believe that it's yet to come?
Well, I also think before that, it's important to say that where we're heading uh, is, with no means to sound pessimistic, perhaps terrorism. There may be a resurgence in terrorism across the globe. There, there have been many military experts and officials which have labeled Syria as potentially the new terrorist hotspot. Iraq was a terrorist hotspot in 2003, which is actually around that time is when the current HTS leader, Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, he went to fight in the insurgencies in Iraq, and then he later went to join Al-Qaeda. Yes, same Al-Qaeda which committed uh, many bombings across Europe. Yes, same Al-Qaeda that committed 9/11. And then after that, he was also imprisoned in an American prison, yes, in Iraq called Buka. And then he was released. Then he went to Syria. He joined ISIS. He created the Al-Nusra Front from the command of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He then split in 2016 when he perhaps saw that Syria, the Islamic State in Syria, was on a downhill spiral, and then he claimed that he was suddenly a man for the people, the Syrians. I think the reality of the situation, and I would like to use my words very carefully with this, that many nations, many diplomats, many military experts in the region and across the globe, their sentiment, or what they perceive to be the sentiment in the Middle East, is that he can stick as much wool as he would like on his body, but they will see right through that wolf in sheep's clothing. They believe that he is awaiting the his lift from the terrorist watch list. He currently has a $10 million bounty on his head set by the United States government for engaging in terrorism and killing US servicemen. Uh, Many believe he's waiting for that lift from the terrorism watch list for him to become the president. But right now, they consult him, surprisingly, uh, just as much as the prime minister, the interim prime minister they placed in power in Syria, although he's not, to my knowledge, an elected official. And they state that there will be elections perhaps in 4 years' time. From now until 4 years is a very long time. They've committed multiple, I would say, not just sectarian acts, but also as a newly found national government, they lean more towards Islamic extremism than they do towards democratic secularism. Uh, for example, they today announced, according to a BBC report that I read this morning, that they're now reforming the education system in Syria.
Yeah.
They're removing for example, mention of any Assad era events, which, fair enough, new revolutionaries, they come in, they want to remove the previous dictator's name from history books. I mean, that's not something new, and that's fair. But then they also removed the Big Bang Theory from science textbooks. Very concerning. They removed evolution from science textbooks. I mean, these are basic scientific principles that they are removing on the basis of Islam. It's quite concerning. It's very alarming for not just Iraqis who have managed to fight off and fend off Syria once, but also for everyone across the globe, even Britons who are stationed, for example, in the Middle East. Because if this really does become a hotspot for terrorism and a resurgence of jihadist sort of terrorism, really, there's no other word for it, then the world is definitely in trouble. And I think that if the situation is not monitored very closely by the international community, could lead to a very dangerous situation. That being said, I do fully support the Syrian people's rights to self-determination. I fully support their right to demonstration. They demonstrated that they do not want Assad in power, and fair enough. If the Syrians don't want him in power, then they have the right to take him out without interference. And they're entitled to that right, and I support that right. As with all dictatorships, they're bound to crumble. But the question becomes, is this now a dictatorship in a new form? Or will it be a secular democracy, or even a culturally sort of refined democracy, which, I mean, most Syrians would appreciate. But if the latter is not the case, which I hope to God that, well, I hope for democracy in Syria. I hope for the freedom of all Syrians to choose their leader, to participate in elections. But if that's not the case, then where we are heading is a very, very dark future filled with Islamic State flags, perhaps, or terrorism across the globe.